Okay, so what I'm going to show you today is a little bit of how I go around doing brace training. So these two, they've never actually run in a brace trial yet. Jim's just come out of the nursery season, he's just 2 years old. Jimbo, that's the lighter coloured dog, and then Jonah's, he's only 4 himself, but he's quite experienced at brace. He won the national and the international 2 years ago, but that was with an old bitch, Moya. So this is a new pairing for me. A little bit different to normal. These two are quite different dogs. Usually I run dogs which are quite similar, especially have a similar amount of eye and a similar amount of balance and that. But Jim's a bit more of a pushy type. So I'm having to get the basics of brace running on Jim when he's on his own rather than when he's actually working brace. So I like to think he's getting nearer where I want him to be. The national, which will be one of the trials I run them at, there aren't many brace trials, but the nationals one is in August, so we're in June now, so we've got a couple of months still to tidy him up a little bit. So I'm just going to show you how I go around teaching the brace. So the first thing I want to do is, Jim, that'll do, Jimbo, Jimbo, Jimbo. The first thing I want him to do is, I want him to ignore the other dog's whistles. And I actually go a step further than that. Rather than ignore the other dog's whistles, my dogs are only on different flank whistles, all the other whistles are the same, but when he hears one of Jonah's flank whistles, I want him to actually slow or stop, so it lets the other dog take over a little bit. I don't want it in the end being that only one dog's works. You know, when you get proper brace running going, both dogs are working together in tandem, but I like the idea of being able to ease one back while I work the other. So as, for example, if the sheep are going offline. So now what I'm going to do is, we're going to see how trained he is with the brace. Now this will just lie down. This is just be a bit. I'll just hold on to Jonah while I do this. I'm going to give him Jonah's whistles. Joni, good lad. I'm going to give him Jonah's whistles, and he should stop when he hears them. That's what the idea is anyway. So we'll give him his right hand whistle, and then I'll follow it as he finishes his, as he goes to the back of the sheep, I'll follow it with one of Jonah's whistles. And he should, hopefully, at least check, if not stop. There we go, so that's lovely. So he's learning that when he hears Jonah's whistles, he should stop. Now I don't want him to stop in the end, but I want that to be the basis. I want that to be the grounding and the foundation of my brace training. So I'll ask him on, and I'll give him Jonah's other whistle. Good lad, Jonah. Jonah's desperate to go, as you can imagine, but you see how he stops there. Yep. So okay, so I've got the basics going quite nice, but now the other element is to actually throw the other dog in there. So I'll put Jonah in now. And when they're working, I want to try and make them work as a true partnership. So I've got Jim out on the right, so I'm going to put Jonah out onto the left. So I gave Jonah just a touch of right there, which he didn't take because he knows that the other dog's there, but that just checked Jim. So that means I couldn't get... So what I like to see here is, if you notice how Jim's pushing out onto this side and Jonah's pushing out onto that side, they're nearly going to stop the sheep because they're starting to hold to each other rather than just thinking about me. And that's what I want. I want them to actually work as a partnership, and they start to learn how to hold the packet of sheep to each other rather than just to me. Okay, so one thing we try not to do when doing brace is to let the dogs actually cross over from each other. So when they're on one side, it's different when I'm doing general work on 50 or 100 sheep and we're just dogging them in, they can do what they want then. But when I'm actually working brace, I don't like to see them actually cross over because that's a bad thing in brace trialling. So if I'm wanting to, so we've got Jonah on the come by and Jim on the away there. So if I was wanting to practice the fetch, I'll just bring them down like we have done there, nice. And then I'll often do a full turn like we would at a trial, keeping them on the same side. So one way I can do that to make it quite quick is because they're both on the same voice commands, I can just give them that, come by, and they'll both